I used to believe the worst betrayal in life would come from strangers or enemies. But I was wrong. The person who almost destroyed my life was my own sister. And the truth is, if I had paid attention to the small warnings life gave me, maybe everything would have been different. My name is Amaka. Before I tell you what happened next, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who has ever been betrayed by someone. Now let me tell you what happened that day.
Amaka, you bought a car again without telling me? Relax, I bought it for both of us. Good, because if you ate it alone, I will report you to Mama. Hehe, your turn. Yummy.
You got in. I'm so proud. I did. Thank you. This is amazing. We did it. This style is going to look so good, right? It'll be perfect for classes.
Hey, what's the gossip?
Just chillin'.
All right, that's one order packed. Next one, let's go. Hi, looking for something specific? Yes, this dress, how much? That's 3,000 naira. Great, I'll take it.
We did it!
Amaka, how are you doing today? I'm fine, and you? I will be coming to Lagos tomorrow. Okay, I will be expecting you. Hey, you are finally here. Yes, Amaka, I'm so happy. I missed you so much. I can't believe we're finally going. I know, it's going to be an adventure. Look, our bus is over there. Almost there, the bus should be right ahead. I see it, the one with the stripes. Perfect, let's go. Finally, we're here. Yes, let's get going. This street is much quieter. Perfect. Chioma, you're welcome to my house. Thank you.
Chioma, I am going to teach you about how my online clothing business works.
Thank you, sis.
Ready to see the shop? Yes, show me. Okay, we upload items here. Wow, that's easy.
For the first few weeks, everything felt perfect. She moved into my small apartment. I taught her how my business worked, how I advertised clothes online, how I packaged orders, how I dealt with customers. At first, she was eager to learn. But slowly, something began to change. Small things, little moments that felt strange. Sometimes, she would look at my phone longer than necessary when I showed her orders. Sometimes, she asked too many questions about my suppliers. Sometimes, I noticed her watching me in a way I could not explain. But I ignored those feelings. After all, she was my sister. What reason would she have to betray me? One evening, while we were cooking together, she suddenly asked a strange question. Amaka, do you trust me? I laughed. Of course I trust you. Why are you asking that? She shrugged. No reason. But the way she looked at me that moment, it was as if she was hiding something behind her eyes, something I could not see yet. Months passed. My business kept growing. More customers, more orders, more opportunities. Then one day, something happened that changed everything. A customer sent me a message. Why are you pretending? The woman wrote. I already bought these same clothes from Chioma yesterday. My heart skipped. I stared at the message for a long time. Maybe the woman was confused. Maybe she meant someone else. But then she sent a picture, and the blood in my body went cold. It was my product, my exact product, but the page name selling it was Chioma's. My hands began to shake. I immediately opened Instagram and searched the page, and what I saw felt like a knife entering my chest. My sister had created her own business page using my pictures, my suppliers, my ideas, even my customer contacts. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was that she was secretly messaging my customers, offering them cheaper prices so they would leave me and buy from her instead. For months, She had been stealing everything I worked for, right under my nose, inside my own home, inside the same room we slept in. That night, I could not breathe properly. My chest felt tight. My mind refused to accept what my eyes had seen. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe someone forced her. Maybe she didn't understand what she was doing. I waited until she returned home. When she entered the room, she greeted me casually. "As usual, Lagos traffic is terrible," she said. I did not answer. Instead, I turned my phone toward her and showed her the page. Silence filled the room. Her face changed, but she did not look ashamed. She did not look guilty. She looked annoyed. And that was the moment something inside me broke. "Chioma," I said slowly, my voice shaking. "Tell me this is not what I think it is." She crossed her arms. "You are overreacting." My ears rang. "Overreacting?" I repeated. "Yes," she said calmly. "It's just business." Just business. Those two words echoed in my head like thunder. I stared at her, waiting for her to laugh and say it was a joke, but she didn't. Instead, she sat down on the chair like nothing had happened. "You don't own the clothing business," she said. "Anyone can sell clothes." My throat tightened. "But you used my customers," I whispered. She shrugged. "They chose to buy from me." The coldness in her voice felt unfamiliar, like I was speaking to a stranger wearing my sister's face. I asked, "Why would you do this to me?" For a moment, she said nothing. Then she looked at me with an expression I had never seen before. Jealousy. Pure jealousy. "You think you are better than everyone because you came to Lagos first," she said quietly. "You think you are the only one who deserves success." My heart pounded. "I never said that." "You didn't have to," she replied. The room felt smaller. The air felt heavy. Every memory I had of us growing up together suddenly felt fragile, like glass that had been quietly cracking for years. And I was only just hearing the sound. But what Chioma did next was something I never imagined a sister could do. Something that would destroy not only my business, but my reputation, my friendships, and the little peace I still had left in my life. Because the secret page was only the beginning. The real betrayal was still coming. And when it finally happened, I realized that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones capable of hurting you the most. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The small room suddenly felt too quiet, too heavy, like the air itself was watching us. I kept staring at Chioma, hoping, praying that the girl sitting in front of me would suddenly turn back into the sister I grew up with. The one who used to whisper secrets with me at night. The one who used to cry whenever I cried. But the woman sitting across from me that night looked like someone else entirely. Someone colder, someone harder, someone I didn't recognize. My voice came out weak. "So, you've been stealing from me?" Chioma rolled her eyes slightly, like she was tired of the conversation already. "I didn't steal anything," she said flatly. My heart pounded harder. "You used my pictures, my suppliers, my customers." She leaned back in the chair and shrugged. "You showed me everything yourself." The way she said it made something inside my chest twist painfully. "Yes," I whispered, "because I trusted you." She didn't respond. She just looked at her phone like the conversation was already over. And in that moment, I felt something I had never felt before in my life. Not anger, not yet, just deep confusion. How did we get here? How did two sisters who once shared everything become strangers sitting on opposite sides of a room? That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying everything in my mind. Every moment from the past few months suddenly started making sense. The long stares at my phone, the strange questions about my suppliers, the late nights she stayed awake after I had fallen asleep. All the signs had been there. I just refused to see them. Because when betrayal comes from family, your heart does something strange. It tries to protect you from the truth. The next morning, I woke up early. My eyes felt swollen from crying. Chioma was still sleeping. For a long time, I just sat on my bed staring at her. Her face looked peaceful, like someone who had nothing to worry about. And that hurt more than anything, because my whole life had been shaken overnight while she slept. I quietly picked up my phone and opened my business page. My stomach dropped. More messages from customers, but these ones were different. Confused, angry, suspicious. One message read, "Why are you using 2 different pages to sell the same clothes?" Another said, "Someone said you are a scammer with fake pages." My heart skipped. A cold wave ran through my body. Scammer? My fingers trembled as I opened Chioma's page again, and that was when I saw it. A new post she had made late in the night. It said, "Be careful who you buy from online. Some people steal pictures and pretend to sell quality clothes." Below the post was one of my product photos, and in the comment section she had written, "The real page is here." Then she tagged her own account. For a few seconds, my brain refused to understand what I was seeing. My sister had just publicly accused me of stealing from her. My chest tightened so badly I had to sit down. This wasn't just competition anymore, this was war. I turned slowly toward the bed. Chioma was still asleep, or maybe pretending to be. I stood up and walked closer. "Chioma," I said
Chioma.
quietly. No response. "Chioma?" She opened her eyes slowly, annoyed. "What is it?" I held up my phone. "What is this?" She glanced at the screen for only a second before turning away. "Just marketing." My ears rang. "Marketing?" I repeated. "Yes. I called you a scammer." She sighed like I was the one disturbing her peace. "If the shoe fits." My hands began shaking uncontrollably. "You are lying to people," I said. "They trust me." She sat up slowly and looked directly at me. And what she said next still echoes in my head even today. "They trusted you first," she said. "Now they trust me." It felt like someone slapped me hard. I wish I could say I reacted with strength. I wish I could say I shouted or fought back immediately. But the truth is, I just stood there, broken. Because when someone you love suddenly turns into your enemy, your mind struggles to catch up with your reality. And Chioma knew that. She knew exactly how deeply she had cut me. Within a week, things became worse, much worse. Customers started canceling orders. Some blocked me. Some accused me of copying another seller. My reputation, the one I spent years building, was collapsing. And Chioma's page, it was growing rapidly. New followers, new customers, more engagement. Every time I opened social media, I saw people praising her business, complimenting her clothes, recommending her page, all while my own page slowly died. And the most painful part? Many of those customers used to be my loyal buyers, people who once told me they trusted me. Now they were buying from the sister who destroyed me. The tension inside our apartment became unbearable. We stopped talking. We cooked separately. Sometimes days passed without a single word between us. But the silence was loud, heavy, filled with anger and disappointment. One night, as I lay on my bed staring at the ceiling, I heard her laughing on the phone in the living room. Her voice sounded happy, free, successful. "Orders are increasing every day," she said proudly. I closed my eyes. Tears rolled down quietly. Because that success she was celebrating was built on the ruins of my own life. But the worst moment came a few days later. A moment I will never forget. That afternoon, I received a call from my mother. Her voice sounded worried. Amaka, what is happening between you and your sister? My heart dropped. What do you mean? She called me, my mother said slowly. She said you are jealous of her business and trying to destroy her reputation. For a moment, I couldn't speak. My chest felt empty. She said that? I whispered. Yes, my mother replied. She said you are telling people she stole from you. My hands began trembling again. So that was it. Not only had Chioma stolen my work, not only had she destroyed my reputation online, now she was turning my own family against me. The betrayal was spreading like poison. And the most painful part was realizing something I had never considered before. Maybe Chioma had been jealous of me for a very long time. Maybe all those years growing up, all those smiles, all those late-night conversations were hiding feelings I never noticed. And now those hidden feelings were finally revealing themselves in the cruelest way possible. That night, something inside me finally snapped. I walked into the living room where Chioma was scrolling through her phone. Why are you lying to our parents? I asked. She didn't even look up. Because it works. My heart slammed against my ribs. You are destroying my life. She finally raised her head and looked at me, cold, unmoved. You destroyed mine first, she said quietly. My voice cracked. How? Her eyes burned with something deep and bitter. You are always the successful one, the one everyone praised, the one our parents bragged about. The pain in her voice was real, but so was the hatred. You had everything, she continued, and I had nothing. I stared at her stunned. We could have succeeded together, I whispered. She shook her head slowly. No, she said. There was only space for one of us. That was the moment I realized something terrifying. Chioma didn't just want success. She wanted my failure. And that meant the worst part of this story was still coming. Because when jealousy grows inside someone long enough, it doesn't stop at small betrayals. It keeps growing. Until one day, it destroys everything. And what Chioma was about to do next would break our family in a way I never thought possible. After Chioma said there was only space for one of us, the room fell silent again. But this silence felt different, heavier. Like something invisible had finally broken between us. I stood there for a long time, staring at the sister I thought I knew. The same girl who once held my hand when we crossed the road to school. The same girl who used to beg me not to leave her behind whenever I traveled back to campus. Now she looked at me like a stranger, or worse, like I was a rival. My voice came out softer than I expected. Chioma, we are family. She laughed, not loudly, just a short, cold laugh. Family, she said. If family helped people succeed, why did you leave me in the village while you came to Lagos? The words hit me like a slap. I didn't leave you, I said quickly. I was struggling too, you know that. You still left, she replied. Her eyes were sharp now. And when you finally brought me here, you expected me to remain under you forever. I shook my head slowly. That's not true. But the truth was, I could see something now that I had never noticed before. The jealousy inside her had been there for years. Quiet, hidden, growing slowly like weeds under the ground. And now it had finally broken through the surface. After that conversation, things between us became worse, much worse. We still lived in the same apartment, but it no longer felt like a home. It felt like two enemies sharing the same battlefield. Sometimes she would receive calls from customers and speak loudly on purpose, laughing, bragging, talking about how busy her business had become. And every time I heard those words, something inside my chest tightened painfully, because I knew where that success came from. My ideas, my contacts, my hard work. But arguing with her no longer changed anything. The damage was already done. A few weeks later, my business had almost completely collapsed. Orders became rare, messages slowed down, the customers who once trusted me had moved on. Some days I would sit with my phone for hours, refreshing the page, hoping a new order would appear. But most days, nothing came. And slowly, the financial pressure started building. Rent was approaching, bills were waiting, food prices kept increasing. For the first time since I moved to Lagos, I began to feel truly afraid, not just of failure, but of losing everything. One evening, I received a message from an old customer named Kemi. She had been buying from me for almost 2 years. So when I saw her name pop up, my heart jumped with a little hope. But when I opened the message, my stomach dropped. Amaka, I need to ask you something honestly. I typed back quickly. Yes, please, go ahead. A few seconds later, another message came. Is it true you stole your sister's business ideas? My hands froze. Then she sent another message. Chioma said she helped you start everything and you pushed her out when the business grew. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The room felt like it was spinning slowly around me. Chioma hadn't just taken my customers. She had rewritten the entire story. In her version, I was the villain. That night, I confronted her again. I walked into the living room where she was scrolling through her phone like always. Why are you telling people I stole from you? I asked. She didn't look surprised. She didn't even look guilty. She simply shrugged. People like stories, she said. My voice cracked. You are lying. She finally looked up. And, she said. The word felt like a knife. And, I repeated. Yes, she said, calmly. Business is not about feelings, it's about winning. I stared at her, trying to understand how the sister I loved had become this person. How can you do this to me? I whispered. Her expression hardened. Because nobody ever helped me, she said, and now I'm helping myself. That night, I cried harder than I had cried in many years. Not just because of my business, but because I realized something painful. The sister I grew up with was gone. Or maybe she had never truly existed. Maybe the person sitting across from me is who Chioma had always been, and I was just blind to see it. A few days later, something happened that pushed everything even further. It was a Sunday afternoon. I had just returned from church when my phone began ringing. It was my mother again. But this time, her voice sounded different, stronger, angrier. Amaka, what kind of disgrace are you bringing to this family? My heart started racing. What happened? She told us everything, she said. She said you are spreading lies about her because you are jealous. My chest tightened painfully. Mama, that's not true. But she didn't let me finish. You are older. You should behave like an elder sister. I closed my eyes slowly. The betrayal had now reached home completely. My own parents were starting to believe Chioma's story. And suddenly, I felt more alone than I had ever felt in my life. That night, I sat outside the apartment building for a long time. The Lagos air was warm and noisy. Cars passed, people talked, life continued moving forward. But inside my chest, everything felt stuck. I kept asking myself the same question over and over again. How did two sisters who once loved each other so much end up here? And just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Chioma did something that shocked even me. Something that would finally destroy the little connection we had left as sisters. Something that would drag our entire family into a storm none of us were prepared for. Because betrayal, once it begins, rarely stops where you expect it to. And what Chioma did next was the moment I truly realized that some wounds created by family never fully heal. If you've ever trusted someone with your whole heart, especially someone from your own family, then you already know how deeply a betrayal like this can cut. And the truth is, the worst part of my story hasn't even happened yet. because what my sister did next forced me to make a decision that would change both our lives forever. But before I continue, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? Someone you never expected could hurt you? If you have, share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. And if this story touched you or made you think about the meaning of trust and family, please like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more real emotional stories like this. Your support helps stories like this reach more people. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Because in the next part of this story, you will discover the shocking decision I made and the moment my sister realized that some betrayals come with consequences. And when that moment finally came, neither of us were ready for what followed. To be continued.